We often talk about pillars in hip hop, and we often talk about game changers, vanguards, if you will, HB and Tracy G. People who came in and made a difference. They're not just customers, they're contributors. And one of those major contributors who really changed the swing of hip hop and how we receive it came from across the pond. I remember this when she put her Down to Earth album back in the early 90s, the same year I started working on 106 KMEL, so we had to play her music to set the tone. She had a flow that we wasn't sure where she was from. It even dawned on us that she might have been from a foreign place. The way she spit bars gave us an insight of a place that we had never been, South London. Come on. Nominated for Grammys. She was up against the likes of MC Hammer. You can't touch this, Tracy. I knew it because Hammer's my family, and I was like, wow.
Speak on it.
She's nominated for a Grammy? That's amazing. Same with LL. She was nominated in the same category with LL. We hadn't seen that. It was like, what? How is... Had everything to do with her flow. Had everything to do with her content. It had everything to do with her flavor, and she introduced something new. You know, when you look at a lot of the current artists that come from London, whether it's Giggs, whether it's Lil Sims, whoever it is that you like that comes from London, Dizzy Rascal, that's a good friend of ours, right, Rich Nice? Dizzy Rascal's a good friend of ours. Yes. You know,
indeed.
Stormzy, John Boyega, all these different folks I met. And I start understanding London and then how London is, you know, broken down or segregated. And I start understanding that South London is kind of like Brooklyn is, or what Oakland is to the Bay Area, Compton is to the L.A. area. And we didn't know that. But she educated us in many ways and opened the door for many artists from across overseas, not just London. And now she's just, you know, been flourishing ever since over the decades. You got to salute her career and the way she's transitioned and reinvented herself. And now she's come back to the original. She's come back to the nucleus. She's back on the mic, ladies and gentlemen, and she's no longer in the middle. She's divine. Give it up for the one and only Monie Love. Monie.
Hey, Monie.
Wow.
Monie.
Good morning, guys. What an intro, first of all. Oh, my goodness. Like, how do you follow that intro?
Monie, you made it. Let me say something to you. Because, and you know, we've known each other for years, but I don't know how many times.
Yes,
you know.
Absolutely.
Your vibe, your energy, what you brought to the table, your music, your musicality, your personality. Your personality even added to the packaging. But it was.
And you know what? You've always said that. You've consistently said that. Like, every time we cross each other's paths, you always pull me to the side, and you're always just like, you put your arm around my shoulder and you say, you know, Monie, your vibe is just happy, and your energy is just so good. It exudes, and everybody else gets a piece of it whenever you're around. You've always said that to me. Remember that?
I do. Yes, absolutely. It's what I felt before I knew you. You know what I mean? Like being we all young, you know, in the clubs. I was on radio back then, have put out some music independently and locally. And it was important to us to support things that we thought were dope. And you was always just like this whirlwind that came from where we didn't know. And then when we
came from where
and we figured it all out, it's like, and here we are. And then plus you can hang, you know, we're rapping along the likes of a Queen Latifah. And I've always told you that. So I think it's important that we recognize folks, and you know how it is, Monie. We've been around for a minute, and so you got to kind of re-educate people on the importance of some of these folks that come on this platform.
Absolutely. And you know, I never get offended by that. I think the only time I ever get irritated with the different sets, as far as, you know, the originators and then those who came after them and then those who came after. I only ever get upset with people in anything when you are adamant against learning or researching. I don't get offended by people. For instance, to put it plainly, I don't get offended by younger people who don't know who I am, who don't know that I'm an MC. The only thing they've ever heard of or know about me is that, oh, that's the girl, she's on the radio. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get offended by that for the simple reason that I don't expect everybody to know off the back, because things have changed, years have passed, decades have passed. You know what I mean? But where I get irritated is the handful of folks that you might meet up with in life that don't want to learn or don't want to research in anything, whether it be hip hop, whether it be radio, whether it be, you know, a 9-to-5 skill job, whatever it is. You know what I mean? That's the only time I ever get irritated.
That makes sense. People who are closed-minded, I don't even know how to communicate with that type of person no longer, Monie. I'll be honest with you at this stage in my life. But I do like to revisit, but I want to bring us to present and move forward, obviously. But I love your history because it means so much to the culture when we're talking about expansion. And when I go over to London and France and Germany, you know, you've traveled the world, and it's important that people know who these folks are. But I'm going to dig in the crate, if you don't mind, Monie.
Go ahead.
I'm going to dig in the crate to 1994. Tracy, this is a trip. HB, you know what we was doing in 94. Monie Love came by the world-famous Wake Up Show with Sway and King Tech and sat down next to Akinelli. And this is what it sounded like. Monie Love.
My God, no, you don't have to.
From Brixton to Michigan, I keep my groove swinging on the road with the soul on an avenue, bringing you the funkness and the realism, knocking out the fraudness and the steelism. How about a round of applause for you and yours? You make a lot of racket with a very low score. What makes you think that you can step to this? Originality is coming out my ass. Is you stupid? You know you got no lyrics to go, and yo, you sound a lot like somebody I know. So move on, black child, move on. You can't wreck a pro cause your style is worn. So if you wanna sleep, then get ahead, catch your Z's. And when you awaken, the mo will have you on your knees. So please, do yourself a just and respect the fact that the Akinelli just scratched my back.
1, 2, yes, 1, 2.
Come on, man. This
Oh
is not.
my God!
Love it. Love it.
Come on, Monie.
Oh my goodness! You know what? I shouldn't be surprised. I really shouldn't. You are like you. There are certain people in this business throughout time that archive every doggone thing. You, whether it be Stretch Bobita, whether it be Ralph McDaniels, you guys are like historian pillars. You keep everything.
Come on. That was 1994, Monie. We go back. We deep with it. We ain't even got to talk rap. It's been, you know,
wow.
It's been
oh
that.
my gosh.
Yes.
And you know what? I remember I was out there for Entice's video shoot. Entice, my girl, that's my daughter's godmom. One of my daughter's godmom, because I got a church of kids. But we'll do that later.
I had a crush on Entice, Monie. I had a crush on Entice. Keep going, though.
Shut up. Yeah, we were out there for her video. She was Search was running a label she was signed to, and we went out there for her video shoot, and it was during an awards show or something. What awards was that?
I want to say the Soul Train, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. It was an awards because everyone was out there. Everyone was out there, Sway. That's how comes I wind up bumping into Akinelli in the studio, because your studio that night was like a revolving door. Everybody was coming through it that night.
That was an amazing night, and I'm so happy we had the wherewithal to kind of document all of this stuff since the early 90s. So we sitting on some things. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Monie Love here. 888-742-3345. HB, you there? Bizzle? Tracy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Rich Nice?
I'm right here.
Okay, everybody's here. Monie, you're coming back to the mic.
Yes, officially. See, the thing is, it's funny, when I first started, right, I was a closet rapper until listening to Shantae put the battery in my back, right? And then here we are all these years later, and I have since then become back to the closetness of myself as far as writing and rhyming and just doing things for friends, getting on friends' songs, like Raz, if Raz asks me to do something, it's done. If Elder Sensei asks me to do something, it's done, but never really releasing anything myself. And I think I can attribute it to my disdain for the business end of everything. I just disliked the business. The art and the culture end of everything. I will forever be a preservationist. I will forever be a culturalist, as far as what we came up in, because it brought me from one country. My love for hip hop brought me from one country to another at 17, so those things will always be instilled in me. But I did lose my appetite for dealing with all of the other things, the politics and the business and the cliques that happen within the business. And also as a woman, the pigeonholed areas that where if you're not doing this, then we're not, you need to show a little bit more skin, Monie. And I'm like, no, you show more skin. Show me your skin. That's not what I do. And
you really got that kind of pressure? You were getting that pressure to just be more salacious, or what was it? What were they saying?
Absolutely. I got that pressure. And it's like you shouldn't have to take anything away from the women that are more sexually explicit, as far as, the labels and the people that were your A&R directors at the time. This is the A&R room. Let's get real with it, right? So it's like, when Kim and Foxy came out and they owned their sexuality in a forefront manner. And there's nothing wrong with that. Why couldn't they do that as they did? And the girls that are not doing that still continue to do what they do. It's like the A&R people and the labels decided, okay, these girls are doing this and this is super successful, so now we need all girls to do this. And it's like, why? Why do we all have to do the same thing? Part of the beauty of hip hop is that there's balance. Like, I don't want to listen to every single group that sounds like Public Enemy. I want Public Enemy to sound like Public Enemy. I don't want everybody else to sound like Public Enemy. I don't want everybody else to sound like Boogie Down Productions and KRS-One. I want KRS-One and Boogie Down to sound like them. I also want the Jungle Brothers to sound like them. You know what I mean? And everybody had their different pockets that they controlled, that was their thing. That was their original contribution to the culture. So with the women now, it's like every record label wanted to push a woman into that pigeonhole. And if you weren't going to do that, then it was going to make things a lot more difficult for you. And at that point, I met a guy named Steve Smith, who flipped a radio station in New York from top 40 into a hip-hop flagship station. And he contacted my manager and was like, would Monie be interested in doing radio? And at the time I was like, why? And then I met with him. He had me train. I got my FCC license. What's that nowadays? You don't need one of those anymore.
FCC.
I'm like, damn, I ain't got that.
This was all happening at the same time. So I kind of transitioned and developed myself a whole nother skill during the same moment in time that I was losing my lust for the business aspect of hip hop. Never lost the love for the culture. So always continued writing, always continued making music, but, in my home or among friends, in that type form. And it wasn't until Baby Paul of the Beat Miners, he's been in my ear for at least the last 4 years. Like, come on, Mo. You got, I see what you write. I hear what you write. Nobody else hears it, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't like the business, Paul. Like, So it wasn't until right before the pandemic that he finally broke me down, and he was like, don't worry about any of that. I'll worry about that, because Paul has transcended into positions of where he has his own label, he has his own production company, he has distribution. Like, he's really grabbed the bull by the horns in the business end of things, right? Even more so than the production end, which he already had covered. So he talks me into not worrying about that end of everything. He's like, just do you. Do your art. Let me worry about everything else. Just do you, Mo. And so it was at that point, right at the top of the pandemic, that I actually started brainstorming and putting a project together. And so Divine is the first release from that project.
Wow. Yo, that let me tell you something, man. And I watched your radio career and watch you blossom as a radio personality as well. This might be Heather B, Tracy G, Rich Nice. This might be the smoothest, easiest interview you ever do. Because that, I mean,
so
geez.
now I can actually hear.
Yeah, you're right, HB. Like that. The answer to that
Monie,
question was
what's up,
amazing.
Monie?
That's Heather B, Monie Love. Heather B. That answer was amazing.
Heather knows. Heather gets me. She absolutely gets me too.
Did y'all ever cross paths, HB?
What? Cross paths? Heather, do you want me to tell him, or do you want me to tell the story, or do you want to tell the story?
Monie, shh. This is an international radio show. Easy, Star, easy.
Second. He's off.
Hey, did y'all ever come close? Did y'all ever go in the studio together, Heather and Monie?
We just always.
I think I've been in Heather's sessions. I have been in Heather's sessions before.
Yeah, like
with her because that's my homie.
Yeah.
It was never an A&R person put together. Oh, you're gonna get no. I was in the studio with Heather because Heather would be recording something, and that's my homie, so I would be there.
Yo, Rich, don't you feel like the two of them bucking up on me for some reason, Rich? Does it feel like that?
You trying to get an exclusive. I'm just saying, Sway was hanging out. Nobody
Like
be asking you and Rich what y'all was doing in Miami New Year's Eve.
Oh, wow.
You see that?
Wow.
No, but listen, let me let you and Rich and everybody listening understand what it means to say that Heather and I are homies. Like, it's not floss or, oh, yeah, girl. No. Let me explain to you how this is, right? Me and Heather ran so deep when I was still living in New York. In the tunnel days when the tunnel was still hot. You know where I'm going, Heather. In the tunnel days when the tunnel days was still hot, right? We would plan, like, it would be me and Heather rolling to go, right? And it would just be us two, right? I remember one time I drove, so I think she was in the studio session. I picked her up from the studio session, and then we were in the car, and then we were going to hit the tunnel, right? It was just me and her. And she was like, I wanna let me roll this real quick and smoke this before we get in there.
Oh, wow.
You know, they
okay, Monie. Ease up, Monie.
I love this.
All right, I'm sorry. Listen. The point being, I had to make sure that business was taken care of before we got in the club because we didn't want to get any type of harassment or what have you. And so I drove around the tunnel, the block of the tunnel. I drove around the block of the tunnel about 20 times for her to be done. And the whole time I was driving around the block, I kept playing Keith Murray, the most beautifulest thing in the world. It was the single, and it flipped over, and it was the same song. And then it flipped over, and it was the same song. And we were going around and around the tunnel.
Don't you just love this song? I was like, Monie, by the time we get out, I'm going to love it. I'm going to know it word by word. She's like, I love it. Yo, the most beautifulest thing in the world was our theme song that night. It was called, and she just kept playing it over and over. And crazy enough, one night, this how me and Biggie already knew each other, but Monie was like, yo, meet me at this spot. I was like, all right, I'm already in the city. We're going to go to the party. So I'm outside waiting for Monie to come. Biggie walks up. He like, Heather, why you standing outside? I'm like, I'm waiting for Monie. He's like, nah, homegirl, you can't be standing outside. Come on in. So I went in with Biggie. Monie like, where you at? I'm like, well, Biggie it was always those kind of nights. It was always
organic.
Organic.
Yo, hey, we ain't even. This the PG version, citizens.
Exactly. Touring out in the street.
All right, that's amazing, man. We got Monie Love hanging out with us. A lot of folks, you know it from the radio. I know it from music radio. A lot of folks know you from Marriage Boot Camp now. Which is really interesting. I want to get into that, but I want to let Rich Nice join in. This is the A&R Room and Tracy G. Rich Nice. Richard!
Hey, Monie. So good to hear your voice, sister. So good to hear your voice. How are you?
Is this our Rich Nice? Our Rich Nice?
This is our Rich Nice. Yes, it is.
Holy moly. What's up?
Yes, yes, yes. It's so crazy to hear your voice. It's like I haven't seen you in so long, and it's so crazy. Anyone who knows me knows that I love female London rappers. I blame you for this, Miss Monie Love. I blame you for this. Who from this new crop of London femcees do you like and think would do good over here in the U.S.?
From London?
Yeah.
Honestly, I really would like to see. I would like to see a lot of these girls get more dynamite behind them to blow up outside of, because they've already won over the UK. I think Lady LaSure is awesome. I really enjoy her. I enjoy her a lot.
Very raw.
But also, why am I having a brain fart? I'm forgetting her name. She's like a she's like a she's West Indian. She's just like me. She's West Indian background also. And leans over into Stefflon Don, then leans over into the Jamaican side of things also. Yeah, love that girl. They're both wicked, but those are there are so many more in the trenches that I wish could get more light, and they're working hard in the trenches in London and outside. A few of them that are outside London proper, because London, there's Manchester, there's Birmingham, there's outside London places too, and there's a lot of girls that are coming up through the trenches there too. But the two that stick out to me the most, because I've seen them touch the basis of the United States a little bit, and people here know them, but I'd like to see more become of that, is Lady LaSure and Stefflon Don.
Nice.
All right. Trigger.
Nice.
Monie, this is Tracy.
Yes.
I'm so happy to speak to you and get to know you more, because admittedly, I am one of those people who was first introduced to you from radio, and then with some work realized, oh snap, there was a whole other pop in life before I ever heard her on the radio. And I love all of the layers to you. So there's two things that I got for you. One, when you were speaking about the industry and how you lost your appetite for the business side of it, for the many reasons that we hear many times through many artists, especially women, unfortunately, I've always wondered to myself, and I want to get your thoughts on if a solution would be women creating labels more, because we don't often see that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah, you've just pinned the tail on the donkey, love. You just have. Absolutely. That's it. That's what needs to happen. There needs to be more of us on that end of things. There needs to be more of us that are actually running the labels that can give that level of understanding, because unfortunately history has kind of shown us that, like, for the most part, there just isn't that level of understanding on a lot of the labels that are, let's face it, men ran. And this isn't me getting into I'm going to bash men this morning on Sway's morning show. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm just simply answering your question and just being as honest as I can. Yes, women really do need to be more so on the top VP parts of areas, positions of labels that are putting out other women, because I think there's a level of creative empathy that we can give to each other and understanding, like, everybody's not going to be the same. This is not a cookie cutter. You know what I mean? Let the women that are in charge of having a prowess sexual presence on their music and in their videos and just in their presence, let them have that and support them. You know what I'm saying? Also, support the girls that are backpack girl rappers. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Also, support the girls that are political, righteous, social conscious, pushing that agenda in their presence and in their, like, support them all. That's where I'm going with it.
Yeah, no, the variety is so important on so many different levels. And also, Monie, I don't feel like it's not every day that we're speaking to someone who had a personal request made from Prince in terms of writing. I was reading how Prince asked you to help with Carmen Electra's album. Is that true?
Very true. And I spent an extensive amount of time with Prince, and I originally did not want to go. Can somebody stick their hand through this phone and slap the crap out of me for that? Like,
Wow. What were you thinking? Where did you prefer to be? If you know what was your option?
okay, let me put you in the headspace. You're going to understand this. All of you are going to understand this. It's early 90s. I come from England. I am a woman. I have fought to prove my hip-hopness among my
That's
peers.
true. Mm-hmm.
Right? And now my label's asking me to do some project with Prince, who is multi-talented, a musical genius and god, but he's not hip-hop.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where my head was at. I was giving it all the bravado, like, nah, that ain't hip-hop. I'm hip-hop. You know, what I look like doing something with Prince, you know what I'm saying? I should be working with the Canes and the KRSs and the you know, that's what I was giving it back then. And plus I was scared of Prince because I had heard he didn't like hip hop.
Wow. Yeah.
You remember those kind of rumors used to circulate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it like when you guys finally connected?
That man gave me the biggest, jewels of knowledge that I could. The takeaway was tremendous. First of all, he flew myself and my husband at the time. I had one baby. She's 30, by the way. So
Is she the one from the video?
Wow.
From the Born to Breathe video?
She's 30.
Tell my niece I said what's
let
up.
that perspective sit in, shall we?
I remember how cute she was in the video.
So Prince flew me, my husband at the time, that one baby that I had, which is my oldest daughter, and we stayed at a hotel like adjacent to the compound, but it was like I had to be up at a certain time every day and be over next door into Paisley Park every day at for 8 o'clock in the morning. I had to be over there. Then I get over there, and you're going to laugh at me, but this is the God's honest truth. This man made me pancakes every morning for breakfast.
What?
Ooh, just classic pancakes, apple cinnamon. What was going on with the pancakes?
Just classic pancakes, and then he wouldn't eat any of them.
So he would
He'd
just
watch me eat them.
he would sit at the table and look at you while you ate the pancakes?
He'd be talking to me about, what we're going to do for the day, but he would not be eating. It's like you're having breakfast with somebody, but they're not eating. You're eating.
Damn, so he watching you chew with your mouth open, all that.
And it was like, and I never realized it was a thing until years later watching Chappelle's show.
Mm-hmm.
And then seeing the whole pancake skit. And for the first time when I saw that skit, I stood up and yelled at the TV. I shouted. I was like, so it really was a thing.
Yeah, that was apparently a rumor, but Monie is like the only person that I actually know that had the pancakes, because it was a rumor. Like, it was like Prince be making people pancakes. Niggas is what? How?
But I never spoke about it because I didn't think it was a thing. It wasn't until I saw the skit that I was like, wait a minute, but that really did happen.
How were the pancakes?
No. Oh, they were great. I wasn't there early enough to see if they were made from scratch or from Bisquick or something. So I don't know how much of a pancake chef he was, because I never got to see the starting process. But in any event, he had me out at Paisley Park for about a month or 6 weeks, and then I thought we were going to break and rap because he had a series of shows in Earl's Court in London. So I'm thinking, okay, well, we're going to stop now, because what it was I was writing for Carmen Electra's album. She had a whole album out. Mm-hmm. Most of it was rap, and so I wrote on the album or her lyrics. And then he also produced 2 songs for me for my second album. And when I thought we were going to break because they were going to England, he was like, no. He was like, you're coming too. I was like, oh, okay. He was like, well, when I go on stage at Earl's Court, I'll do my shows every night. It's like 5 shows, 5 nights. And after each night when I get off, I have a studio booked in London that we'll all go to and continue the work that we're doing here now. So, no, we did not break. The work continued. That's a level of work ethic that was part of what I took away from that experience. Like, no, if we can get something done, we're going to get it done. We're not going to hold and put stuff off. You know what I'm saying? He taught me a lot about that level of work ethic, of really sinking yourself into your process and executing it. He also taught me how to not be afraid of hidden talents, because he was like, you can hold a note. I was like, who told you that? He was like, he was like, I can hear it. It's like, don't be scared of that. If you want to sing something here or there, you know, do that. He really helped me. Yeah, this guy helped me to tap into so much richness in as far as work ethic and being an artist and owning your craft. That I really said to myself, you know, I almost got myself out of this situation that was so, I almost lost this opportunity by cutting my own nose to spite my face, being on some, I don't want to go, I don't want to do it. You know, I was arguing with Peter Edge. It was my A&R at the time. I don't want to, you know, and I'm so glad that I didn't ruin that for myself.
Did you take any pictures from that experience?
I didn't, but somebody did, because back then we weren't, you know, now I take pictures of everything. I have my phone handy. Back then, no, I didn't have a camera. I wasn't taking pictures, but somebody somewhere has pictures of that whole process, because I remember pictures being taken.
Nice. So wait, so you were talking about your creative process out there with him. So you obviously have nothing to prove when it comes to the microphone. What's this new inspiration now when you create? What's the new inspiration that motivates you to make new music?
I think I tapped into. I can speak really well, especially because of Divine, about this. I tapped into emotion and general climate of what's going on. Like, for example, and another thing is this, I speak from, this may sound weird to a lot of people, I speak from the aspects of a woman that is in this stage of her life, a woman that has traveled throughout her early years and her teen years and been a part of a movement, a culture, and has had success and has started a family. I'm now a grandmother. You know, I'm definitely speaking from this accent. You're not going to hear me or anything on my project talking about, I'm trying to get dudes, or I'm trying to do this, or I'm trying to do, like, you're not going to hear me trying to be young, because I'm 51 years old. I know who I am, where I am in life, and these are definitely things that you're going to hear reflected on my project. However, I tapped into the emotion end of things and what's going on socially and the social climate, and that also doesn't mean that I'm suddenly going to become Public Enemy. No. Divine was written because right at the top of the pandemic, and maybe the first year of the pandemic, a lot of people suffered loss.
Yeah.
I mean, loss is something that people suffer anyway, but especially during that time, there was just a heck of a lot of loss within people's families. And then you turn on the TV and loss within the entertainment world, loss just every direction you look. It was just so much loss happening, and people were really feeling that. And Tuff, who's actually on Marriage Boot Camp with me, my partner, he lost a matriarch in his family a little before that. And so I asked him to be on the song. I also asked Skyzoo to be on the song. I was unsure whether Skyzoo would be ready to be on the song, because he actually recently lost his grandmother, rest her soul. So I was kind of a little nervous as to whether I should approach him and ask him if he'd be even in that mental space to be able to write something to this song, because Divine is actually a song celebrating those matriarchs in everybody's family. There's always that woman, that one that's the matriarch of the family that holds everybody together and gets this cousin and that cousin to stop fighting and stop arguing. There's always that woman there, right? And so that was what was in my mind sight when I wrote Divine specifically. And both guys agreed to be on the song, especially Skyzoo. I was really like battling with asking him, and I just was like, I'm just going to ask him. And I did. And he was like, yeah, he's like, for sure. He was like, asked me a few months ago, I probably wouldn't have been mentally ready to even do that. But you're asking me now, I feel comfortable enough that I can write something that will make sense. So.
And it came out warm. It came out real warm. Like you picking up where you left off. Bars are tight. Both of those guys sound great with this particular track. I'm going to play this song, Citizens. It's called Divine. It's Monie Love's new song from her upcoming project, available now. Let us know what you think. And any Marriage Boot Camp fans, y'all could call up too, 888-742-3345. Yeah, brand new. Monie Love, she's here. The icon is here. Monie Love, shout out.
You are so right. That really did come out warm. I loved how that came out.
That's so warm. It just felt like you guys were just, it just felt like y'all wrote it together. Like y'all were sitting next to each other. Well, I'm going to say this, then I'm going to throw it to you. Okay, here, I'm jumping in on this point. You know, it sounds real good.
You know, it's crazy. Monie, I got to speak to this really quick. Sorry. The last time I saw you in person, and it's right in vibe with this song, we were sending off our native tongue brother, Baby Chris. The rest of the world knows him as Chris Lighty. And that was the last time I actually saw you in person. We got the fellowship. Speak about that friendship. This song, and I mean, it wasn't specifically written about him, but when I heard the song from you, I thought about the last time I saw you, and that was his send-off. Speak a little bit about that, because people don't know, like, the friendship with Baby Chris that you had.
Well, Baby Chris Lighty, Violators, okay? Violators were originally Red Alert's young boys from the hood, got together, work as like management security. They took care of all of Red Alert's acts, artists that were under his banner. That includes Native Tongues, obviously. That includes me, obviously. Chris has always been no nonsense. And he was like big brother to me in taking care of us all professionally, but also, you know, had me under his wing. Like, okay, you new here. I'm going to keep you straight. You're going to be protected. You're not going to be at bay for all the vultures that are interested in this cute little English girl with this twisted accent. No, that's not happening. They're going to have to go through me to even speak to you. He was like that. And I even remember when he got his first apartment, because we were all super, super young, even though he was taking care of us. I remember when he got his first apartment. And I don't know if Heather might remember this, but we went to I don't know this, I'm from England. We went to a Rickle store, a store called Rickle, to get like housewares. And
Rickles
you remember
was
that,
before
Heather?
Lowe's and Home Depot. Rickles was before Lowe's and Home Depot, y'all. That was like the go-to store. I remember.
Okay. So I remember going into a Rickle store with Chris to get things. You know, when you move into a brand new apartment and you want to give the apartment a once over, so you go and you get like bucket, mop, disinfectants, all that type of stuff. And that's what we got. And then we went to Chris's apartment. It was just me and him. And the purpose for the day was for him to talk to me about the importance of following the line of direction. I may be young and I may want to hang out and I may want to do this and I may want to do that, but it's important as being part of Violator management with Red Alert and being part of Red Alert's army as his group. It's important that I follow instruction and be on time wherever I'm supposed to be. So it was a day that he wanted to have this conversation with me about organizational things to do with being young and in the business. right? But his method of having this talk with me involves me being around him all day, having to go to a Rickle store, having to get mops and this and that and all the rest, and then the two of us giving his brand new apartment a once over. So I'm like, you disguised this meeting that you had to have with me as me basically putting in some labor in your new apartment, right? Right? You know what I mean? But it was like, it kind of reminded me of Daniel's son and Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
It was that type of day. That's what it was. And so this is what this man has always been to me in my life. He's been that pillow point that I go back to. Chris, what do you think about this? Chris, what do you, I'm grown with kids. And I'm still looking at this man like, did I make you proud? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That type vibe. So when we all got together and we saw each other last and we were, for his send off, it was surreal. But the one thing that felt familiar and warm and it felt like forever is when I did see all of you that were there and our connection to each other because of his vibe and his exposure, our exposure to him. The vibe that he let off on us allows us to see each other as we're all still one, because we were one when he was letting off his vibe around us. We're all still one in his memory.
Monie Love, boy, listen to this conversation.
Whew,
Come on. We watching the movie, sitting there, and we're part of it, don't even realize it.
Yo.
Watching. We're not even scratching the surface with Monie, y'all.
Spectacular storytelling.
If that was her mild story for her and Heather B, imagine the
Right.
extreme ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I couldn't. Once you said, hey, easy, I was like, all right, I got to do easy.
Yo, y'all are so stupid, it ain't even funny. That's the cancer in Monie and Sway right now. Always remembering it. See, cancers remember some things, and other stuff they block away, but as soon as something trigger that, it be like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
like,
and it's
easy start.
scary
Keep it
because
back in
it'd be
deep in the
Heather.
ocean.
Oh, my God. Because it'd be detailed. It'd be detailed, too, and I'd be trying to put the brakes on the details.
Well, that actually brings me to my question, because I mean, Sway, Tracy, Rich, we've worked together now for a long time doing this show, but Sway and I have known each other just as long as you and I have known each other. And they know that I don't really hang out with a lot of people. I just don't. And for reasons, obviously, we know this is an industry, things can get crazy or whatever. But one of the things I've always loved about you, that whatever it was, whether we was hanging out or having girl talk or whatever, we laugh and joke about this now and just, but it always stayed between us. And so knowing that that's a personality trait about you that I always loved and respected, how were you able then, because to me, you are somewhat private, you were comfortable with doing marriage boot camp? Like, I didn't even know you were doing this. Like, wow, I just heard this when I clicked
first
into
of all, Heather, first of all, which reminds me, I'm not, I have to bow down to you, because the first person I ever knew to participate in a reality show was the first reality show.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey,
Say that.
Hey, Monie, she don't like when I say it, but I get to say the first African-American reality TV star in history is Heather B.
And I really need you to know that when I don't know how I fell on the radar of the people that research or reach out to people to do this show, because it's not something I even thought about or was looking for. But they reached out to me, they got in touch with me, and Heather, one of the first people that I thought about was you, because you're my go-to as far as a real tangible person with no ulterior motives becoming involved in a reality show. And that was the first ever reality show, and you were the realest person there. Like, there were no qualms about you. There was nothing, whatever happened on screen is the same person that I know off screen. So you were actually one of the first people I thought about, and I was like, if Heather can remain herself and do one of these shows, I can too.
You could do it too.
Because I believe myself to be a person cut from the same cloth as a Heather. And if Heather could do a show like that and remain herself, I'm confident that I can do it too.
Aww.
And based off of that, I was like, all right. So between you and then between me doing a little bit of research on the show and seeing that Styles P had previously been a cast member,
Yes.
and he remained himself, I
Shout
was
out
like,
to
all right,
Styles.
okay,
Yes, you could do it. Got it.
yeah.
Wow, that's
dope.
That's dope. So Tuff, tell me about Tuff.
Tuff is actually like, he's one of the dopest. I'm really stingy with my compliments. I need to make that clear. I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to emceeing. And he's actually one of the dopest MCs I've heard in my life. Some of my favorites. In my mind, he would go in the same bracket as them. And I know, people are listening like, oh, that's because, that's your man, that's your baby daddy, da-da-da. No, because honestly, I remember when I first met him and he told me that he rhymed, and in my head, I cringed because I was like, I do not want to hear this, man. I don't.
Hip-hop snobbery at its best.
Yeah, I did. It was at a Ninth Wonder. Me and Ninth was doing these the True School parties, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So me and Ninth was doing these True School parties, and we did one in Philly. And Ninth knew him already because he was best friends with Flip Murray that was in the NBA. I don't know who's the sports fans in the room that knows Flip Murray.
Yeah.
Okay, so them two grew up together. So he spent a lot of time in North Carolina where Flip was going to school. Met Ninth Wonder. Ninth Wonder years later doing True School parties with me. I'm on Philly radio. This guy lives in Philly. He goes to the event with Ninth one night, and then he's standing there. Ninth introduces him to me, and then he tells me he rhymes. And as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, crap.
Not again.
Because, he seems nice and everything, and then it's like, oh, he's going to rhyme, he's going to be whack, and then I'm not going to want to talk to this man no more because I can't. He was definitely interested in me, and he was cute, and I was like, yeah, but I can't date no man that is
a whack rapper. You can't date a whack rapper.
Nope.
He could be rich, but if he's a whack rapper, you can't.
Changes everything.
Yeah,
Stop going down.
That's like, you know what? Being a whack rapper for me is the same as body part insufficiency.
Damn.
That's the way I can put it.
I like the way you put that, Monie.
Wow.
That's the best way I could put. So I was really scared. I didn't want to hear him rhyme, but surprisingly when I did, I was like, oh my God, let's go to bed. He was just.
Damn, that's all it took was a dope verse?
Oh, but that's not easy though. That's not easy. Guys come and they think what they got is a dope verse. I'm gonna get the panties tonight. I'm gonna drop Monie this verse. It's gonna happen. And then you drop the verse and you be like, what? Really? That's it?
I'm dead.
This is hilarious, by the way.
It's
hilarious.
That's a short story.
Yeah,
it is. That's
don't
a
be
short
a whack
story
rapper.
of how we got together. So years later, we've had our ups, we've had our downs, and so when this opportunity came around, it was like, okay, this might be a good opportunity to get some therapy and to be able to get some notes from an outsider looking in that can help us moving forward. So spoke to him about it, and then we both were on the same page, and he was like, all right. And so we both decided to go ahead and get this therapy, which was rough because they had us quarantining for 2 whole weeks before we even got to the house to start receiving the therapy.
How did he handle having, because you've been in the public eye on a major level, so you learn how to buffer, whatever comes at you, I'm sure. How did he handle being called a cheater and getting the kind of public, response that he got? Like, was he prepared for that? How did?
You know what? I was really nervous for him, to be quite honest. I was really nervous for him, and that was part of the conversations that we had prior to going in. But he's definitely in a place where, first of all, I do need to make it clear that he's 12 years younger than me.
Yeah, yeah.
So 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 I seen people making their jokes. I ain't no cougar. I was not looking for his ass. He was very persistent and was very pushy. Okay,
He was a hunter. He was the hunter.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was definitely a hunter because I was not looking for him. He damn sure was looking for me. But yes, emphasize that part. He really has come to a place within himself where he was like, I don't care about that. I'm more interested in the therapy and the end result and what it means for us and for our family than I do about the scrutiny that may take place during the journey. He was like, so right now with the comments and stuff that are coming in, and there's a lot of tough bashing and that type of thing. He's like, I'm cool with that because everybody needs to go through watching the process. And the same way I went through the process and trusted the process, everybody needs to go through watching the process, and then they'll get it towards the end. So he's been very, I was like, ooh, look at you all grown up. You know?
Monie off the chain. You're so damn funny.
With you. Trust me, it's perfect because you don't get to see that much on television. That's why.
No, we can all relate to it. Ooh, look at you all grown up. And so that's incredible. That's powerful. His outlook on it, and that he wants to show the process. And then at the end of the day, do the checks clear?
What?
Exactly. A round of applause.
Rhetorical question.
Yo, this is amazing. Monie Love is with us. We wasn't even supposed to be on the call this long, Monie. I don't know if you got other stuff to do. I'm sure you do. But I want to take a couple callers. DJ Flash wanted to comment. Flash, Grand Risings, how you doing?
Flash.
Hey.
What's good? How are you?
Excellent.
Hey.
How you doing? That's a smasher right there. Definitely.
Appreciate you.
Definitely an A1 hit. That's definitely an A1 hit. I want to send a shout out to Heather B. I know you don't remember me, but I was at your video shoot when Omer Hashtag directed with MOP. I was there. Give you much love.
Wow.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. Omar Epps directed that video with me and MOP in Brooklyn. Shout out to you, Flash. That's
we was there. We was there. And Monie Love, I've been spinning your music for years. Since about 32 years.
That.
I'm the original DJ Flash, not Flash.
Okay.
Original DJ Flash.
Appreciate you, brother.
DJ Flash, the original DJ Flash.
I thought he said
Flash, like
Splash.
water.
Flask. Oh, Flask.
Splash.
Oh,
Splash.
spell it, man.
Got it.
Everybody got it? Okay.
SPLASH.
Like
Splash.
Splash
Oh,
on you like
DJ
water.
Splash. Oh, my man Splat. My bad, Splash. My bad. Yeah, I got you. Salute to you, DJ Splash. Give him a round of applause for me not saying it right. My man Splash. Splash deserves some applause. Dan, what up, man? Grand Risings, Dan.
Dan the man.
What's going on, family? Listen, Miss Monie Love, this conversation has been 31 years in the making. When I was an 11-year-old kid obsessing over anything that you were spitting out of your mouth. You are one of the three queen MCs. Nothing but love for you. That track was amazing. I'm glad to see you still doing this music thing. And you know what? I just want you to take these like 3 bouquets of flowers because you are definitely MC Light. Heather B, from Jersey, Queen Latifah. When I think of female MCs that empower young women like my daughter Leilani, who's in school now. But you guys are the ones that I love for her to listen to and understand that it's more than what that the media wants us to think black women should be doing as far as being MCs. So I got nothing but love for you and just thank you for being you. Simple as that.
Appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you. And tell Leilani we said hi.
Oh, of course. She's a citizen. She's a genius citizen, but she's a citizen of the show. So
Definitely a citizen.
A sway in the morning, baby.
Wow. Monie, listen, I can't wait to see you in person, and where we go all sit around and hear some of the deep-rooted stories with you and Heather B off mic.
Now you dumb, yo. You chill out, bro.
I gotta hear these because Monie tell it. Hey, Monie, you giving us more insight to the debauchery of 90s HB than we ever get. So I appreciate it.
Lay it low, Monie.
No problem. I mean, this is honestly, this is the best time to do this, where we can actually sit around, whether it be on the radio or whether it be in person, and really talk about those moments, and really have those storytelling moments with each other, and allow the rest of the world to listen in on it, because it's what makes what's going on now have richness. The fact that there was all of these things that organically transpired along our journey. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's nice to have these moments. Not a problem at all. I do this in drop of a hat anytime.
Okay, love you. Kiss those amazing kids. Tell her. Your oldest, his name was it Charlena? Is that?
Charlena,
Please tell her uncle. She never met me, I don't think, but tell her, hey, we're proud of her.
Yes.
Yeah, and send our love to her. All the kids, okay?
I certainly will, and my grandson too. Don't forget, I'm a grandma. I still have all my teeth though, but I'm a grandma.
Hey, there you go, Monie. There you go. Hey, we love you. Get the new single is Divine is out now. Monie Love, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause, man. The icon. The icon. Have a beautiful day, Monie. That's Monie Love, yo.